is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows, and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. This is your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio, presented by JeffBuysYourHouse.com, Valdecast Windows and Doors, and by Center Guard Plumbing, with your host, Roger Piper.
Your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio.
Hi, welcome to Home Answers. I'm Roger Piper. This show is all about your home. And today, we've got a special guest. We're going to talk about when bad things happen to your home. And it's Dan Lights from Crosscom Public Adjusters. Dan, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me on, Roger.
Now, Dan, Crosscom Public Adjusters, a lot of people don't know, what is a public adjuster? Give us an example of what it is that you do.
Sure, that's a good question. As a public adjuster, we're licensed by the Illinois Department of Insurance, or, for example, Wisconsin Commissioner. Depending on what state we're in, it's different. But a public adjuster is an adjuster who meets with the insurance adjuster of the homeowner. Mm-hmm. But we represent the homeowner, not the insurance company. So,
yep.
So that's in a nutshell what we are. We're representing the homeowner with their insurance company.
And you have to be licensed, is that correct?
That is correct.
And that's very different from somebody coming by after a storm and saying, hey, let me help you with your insurance company on this roof or something, right?
That is correct. And unfortunately, there's a lot of guys that do that. And by the laws of the states, normally that is not allowed.
And there is a lot of that. And I know that, I talk to a lot of frustrated homeowners who say, hey, I have been paying on my homeowner's policy for a very long time, haven't had any claims, and then all of a sudden I have a claim and they drop me. Or I have a claim and I have to fight tooth and nail, or things like that. It's really kind of a frustrating time for home insurance right now, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, it really is, Roger. And I mean, every now and then we do run across some adjusters who do a great job, and obviously we love them. But most of the time, I was going to give you a percent, but most of the time we've got to fight with the insurance companies because the adjusters that work for them are pretty much told what to do.
Yeah, and that makes it kind of difficult because everybody knows there's a lot of news going on, a lot of things in the media about insurance companies that are making it more difficult. And I realize there's been a lot of disasters and things like that going on. But it really is many, one, for example, that's in the news a lot lately is State Farm, because there's social media, whether it's true or not, talking about huge rate increases coming for homeowners with State Farm. But when somebody has a claim, let's say that you get a storm goes through and you've got damage. What's the first thing that a homeowner should do, in a situation to make things go smoothly?
Right. Roger, in my opinion, the first thing they should do is hire a public adjuster to represent them. And when I say a public adjuster, I should qualify that by saying a qualified public adjuster.
Right.
Because there's some people out there who learn how to pass a test, if you will, mm-hmm. to get their license, and don't have a clue what they're doing out there, or how claims operate and how to work and negotiate with adjusters and mm-hmm. build rapport with them. A lot that goes into it. Matter of fact, a lot of the adjusters we wind up knowing on a first-name basis, which shouldn't make a difference. But unfortunately, it does, Roger.
Yeah, and all of those decisions usually, the front person for that is not your agent, right? Whoever you have that's representing, that you buy the insurance from. The person that's really important with that is the adjuster that is hired by the insurance company. Is that correct?
That is correct. And a lot of times people, feel like, oh, let me call my agent. Well, some of the agents will actually talk their insureds out of filing a claim, saying, well, their rates are going to go up, or, something mm-hmm. else might happen.
Yeah.
And some of them, I don't know if they still do, but they used to have what they called a profitability bonus, meaning the more claims that run through your office, the less bonus that you get at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the end, the insurance companies are there to make money, just like any other business. But, if you have a rightful claim, then you should be able to get that. So if somebody says, you know what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and work with my insurance company and see what happens. And then after that, go with a public adjuster. Or do you think that they should just go ahead and go with a public adjuster right away?
Roger, I'll answer that saying 100% they should go with a public adjuster right away. And this isn't baseball. And what I mean by that, in baseball, 3 strikes and you're out, right?
Right.
But in this one, we only have 2 shots, if you will, at getting an adjustment approved for everything we want. There's other options after that, but if they call first and the adjuster comes out and gives them just a little bit minimal approval, then they call us. Now we only have 1 shot at it to get what they rightfully deserve.
Now, I wasn't aware of that. You've only got 2 shots on a claim?
That's correct. You got the initial inspection and then the reinspection.
Okay.
After that, now it goes into different things like appraisals or going to court, different things like that, which become a lot more time-consuming and costly.
Yeah. You don't want to do that if you don't have to. We're talking with Dan Leitz. He's the owner of Crosscom Public Adjusters, and they're in Wheaton. They serve Chicagoland and also Wisconsin, right, Dan?
That's correct. Southern Wisconsin and Northeast Indiana.
Yep. Give them a call at 630-871-5500. It's 630-871-5500. And encourage you to go to the website, crosscompublicadjusters.com. When the claim happens and you're there, Dan, tell us the process a little bit. Give us a little bit behind the curtain on what you do when somebody calls and they said, hey, I have damage, I have insurance, I want to make a claim. Tell us the next step.
Sure, Roger. What we'll do is we'll send somebody out to inspect their property first. Matter of fact, if they have not put in a claim, we suggest them not to, and we'll go out and do the inspection first. And I can tell you there are times, several times, that we do an inspection, and do they have damage? Well, maybe a little bit, but probably not enough to file a claim, compared to what their deductible might be.
Right.
And there are many times we will suggest don't put in a claim, and, they might come back to us, well, all of my neighbors are getting new roofs. Well, I can't answer to that. All I can say is your roof, if the adjuster comes out and says, well, Dan, what do you got out there? Well, nothing much. I mean, What are we going to do at that point? Now we just wasted time, money on the insurance side also, time and money to send people out there for something that shouldn't have been filed in the first place. And it's actually worse to file a claim with no payout than it is to get legitimate damage.
Again, new things that we're learning here. So it's when you're saying that if you file a claim and nothing happens, that's worse than not filing a claim, right?
That is correct, yeah.
Ah, that's really interesting, Dan. So what kind of, when it comes to your home, what kind of claims can you help homeowners with?
Roger, pretty much everything. The majority of what we do is wind and hail claims. Mm-hmm. We do fire claims. We've done several. As a matter of fact, we just had one come in from Oak Park that we're fighting with right now. Mm-hmm. Fire claims, water damage claims, broken pipes or things like that. We do tornadoes, and we've also gone to North and South Carolinas for Hurricane Torrance and worked on the hurricanes out there.
Yeah. So basically anything that would fall under your insurance is something that you can handle for them, right?
As long as it's the homeowner's insurance, correct.
Yep.
We don't do automobiles.
Yep, I understand that. And then when it comes to getting the work done, tell us about that process. You go out, you go through the process with the insurance company, and you help get the settlement that they deserve. And then what happens after that?
Sure. Once we get everything settled out and we have an agreed-upon work scope with the insurance company, then we have a full general contracting company that can do all the work, and we have a licensed roofing company also. Uh-huh. So whatever gets approved, our construction company will go in and do the work that's approved for the price that the insurance company paid. So we're not going to charge, excuse me, Roger, we're not going to charge a penny above what the insurance is paying.
Right. Unless somebody says, hey, I want a little bit more, and they're going to pay out of pocket.
And that actually does happen a lot, where somebody's been thinking, oh, boy, I'd like to get some new windows and some new siding, but that's a lot of money when you combine both.
Yeah, it is.
And all of a sudden, maybe the insurance pays for new siding, and they say, hey, give me a price on new windows. And we use a software program called Xactimate, which is the same program all the major carriers, insurance carriers, use when estimating. So we use that instead of coming up with an arbitrary figure. This is a real number. They don't put commissions in there, so it's a real number for the homeowner.
Yeah, and I think that's important because you're working with the same software, and you know a lot of these adjusters, right? So they know if Dan's company is calling up, hey, this isn't some homeowner we're just going to automatically deny. So you're kind of like having a guy, right, when it comes to the homeowner.
That's correct.
Yeah. Real important to think about whenever you have that, because you can also, first of all, you're going to make the insurance process a lot easier for people. And then after that, you can do the work too. And so it's one company, one stop, and you're taken care of, right? Is that the really big advantage of it, Dan?
That is, Roger. You don't have to worry about anything because from public adjusting and making sure it's done, the adjustment's done properly and they get paid for everything they should, to getting the work done by our general contracting company. And we stand behind, of course, both steps there. So if there's ever any problem, we're here. We've been around since 2000, so we're around to stay.
Yep, and that makes a difference, too. When you've got, if you're a homeowner, you do a claim, you've got to deal with a contracting company, the whole bit. And, that's just more and more stress and more problems. So, Dan, we want to thank you for being on the show. Crosscom Public Adjusters, give Dan a call, 630-871-5500, 630-871-5500. Write that number down. If you have a problem with your house, then give them a call. And remember, CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com. That's the website. This is Home Answers. I'm Roger Piper on AM 560, The Answer.